I am Melvi Tamayo from the local congregation of Orosi. Hope you're all doing well tonight. And tonight is all about connection in communication. What you say is who you are. And we're going to find out why this is important. And tonight I am joined by the beautiful ladies. Only here on INCRadio, Central Valley, California, my lovely co-hosts. So let me pass it on first to Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin. How are you?
Hi, Melvi. Thank you so much. I'm doing well. Thank you to everyone tuning into Central Valley, California satellite station. We have such an interesting discussion tonight. It's all about talking to others and connecting and communication. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to INCRadio DZEM 954. Our shows are every Friday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll pass it back to you, Melvi.
Thank you, Caitlin, and thanks for joining me tonight. Next up, we have Jill. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Melvi.
Hello,
everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I am Jill San Antonio, coming to you live from Santa Maria. Thank you so much for tuning into our show. I'm so excited to get into our topics. So with that, I will pass it back to you, Melvi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I did say lovely, right? But we're not done yet. We got one more. Next up, Terry. Hi, Terry. Long time no see.
Hey, hi, Melvi. Hi, Jill, and hi, Caitlin. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. So good to be with you again. It's so exciting to be here again with all these three lovely ladies. Okay, so coming to you live in Fresno. It's about 90 degrees in the evening right now. Kind of warm and kind of hot, but stay hydrated. Melvi, back to you.
Thank you. Now that's how we connect here on INCRadio. Lots of laughter and full of smiles and lots of energy as well. Now, before we dive into our discussion, we do have a recap of highlights and a video to show. Because last week we had our basketball and volleyball tournament in our district. So stay tuned and don't go away because we do have a video to show you right now, as a matter of fact. And hopefully that we're ready. I think. Fun and unforgettable moments. You know, when we talk about sports and you see that and you see and feel the love of the brotherhood, I know some of you were there. So come on, share with us some of your experiences, Jill or Terry.
Absolutely. I feel just seeing that video is just so emotional. I can truly say that this past weekend has been the best Unity Games I have ever experienced. I just feel like these events just get bigger and better. The competition just gets fiercer. But not only that, even though it was a competition, what I loved witnessing was the amazing sportsmanship between all the players, everybody that showed up. And because I'm also here, I have to take this opportunity to, of course, shout out the entire local of Santa Maria. Congratulations to everybody from the basketball, men's basketball, to participating, and of course, from our volleyball edition coming to, from congratulations to the men's volleyball placing second of Santa Maria and Bakersfield for also placing first. And for the women's volleyball, Bakersfield placing second and Santa Maria women's placing first as well. Congratulations to everybody. But not only that, from the players to the winners, aside from all of that, I just want to say thank you to every single individual that contributed to our Unity Games, whether you were part of the planning phases, the operations, the medical teams, the scans from manning the parking lots, or even just a spectator and being there for supporting not only our local and players, but our entire district. And that is all what it's about. So back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, so it was very fierce and everything like that. As Jill had mentioned, the recap is great. Thank you, Jill. But on the basketball side, Fresno team Buclod won first place. So I'm very proud of that because I am from Fresno. But of course, the unity of the brethren just came together on that day. And it was beautiful. Everyone had a good time. And shout out to Santa Maria, which took first place, which Jill was in the team. So yeah, clap for her, of course. And all the other, yes, there you go. And all the other ladies and all the other brethren that supported. It was just great. It was a great experience. Like Jill had mentioned, that it was probably one of the best Unity games that I've also experienced. Yeah. Melvie?
Yes, thanks, Caitlin. Do you have any comments on what they said?
Yeah, I was going to say, thank you so much for sharing. I always love attending Unity games and watching the brotherhood, the unity of everyone. I wasn't able to go this year, but just hearing your guys' experience really inspired me to go next year.
Oh,
I do also want to mention super quickly, everyone who's traveling tonight, thank you for still tuning in. Please make sure to take care, be aware, and all the more safe travels. Just wanted to mention that as well. Back to you, Melvie.
Yes, and you can still tune in as long as you're not the driver. Or even if you're the driver, encourage your passengers, please, right? And don't forget to please click that like button. And Jill and Terry, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful experiences. And as for me, everyone who showed up there are indeed winners. And thank you for your continuous support with all of our district and local activities. And I believe bowling is up next. So I think
yes.
I'm gonna try not to miss that one because I like bowling.
It's gonna be fun. It's going to be in Bakersfield, I believe, right? Caitlin?
Yes, it is. Super excited.
Yeah, yes. And we also have upcoming musical EVM. So we have a lot to look forward to. Okay, so again, thanks for tuning in. Now, we're going to go ahead and dive into our topic discussion. And my first question to my beloved friends here and to you also, listeners and viewers, we would love to hear your insight, your comments, even your own personal experiences when it comes to this, because I know for a fact that communication is very important and crucial in all aspects of our lives. We have so many resources out there that we can use. And the only thing that matters most too when it comes to this is all about application. Why am I saying that? Because for me, that's my own personal experience. I have to be able to learn and apply what I've learned, not just consume the knowledge, but apply it in my daily life. So hopefully that you can resonate with that as well. And if you do, share it with us and we'll read some of those comments later on. So to Jill, Terry, and Caitlin, what do you think it means to have connection and communication, and why do you think this is important?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think what it means to have connection and communication is it's more than just words. When you're in connection with somebody and communicating with them, you're on the same page and you're on the same path. There's that mutual understanding there. And it's really important to have alignment with each other because kind of like in your car, if one of your wheels is not aligned, then you're obviously going to be steering into two different directions. Right? One could be
that metaphor. I just got the visual. I'm going zigzag.
Or reminded me, look at my car face. So yeah, it's just really important to, have alignment with each other. That way you know that you're on the right path and same path going with each other. So
good answer.
Yeah. For me, I think it is important to have that connection. When you're having a conversation, I think some people like to think about already what they're going to answer instead of really listening to what the other person is saying. So the connection is making sure that you know what they're actually trying to convey to you, and then try to answer or talk about, discuss what they are saying. Because whenever someone is talking to me, I'd like to say, this is what I heard you say. So then I know exactly what I heard and how to answer it. So that's, yeah. And the connection, the path that you're going to is, yeah, that's how I think it means. It's really good.
So Jill mentioned alignment. You mentioned listen to understand and not to respond quickly.
Yes.
I wonder what Caitlin is going to say next. I'm learning a lot from all of you tonight. Love it.
Yes, I think communication is also about acknowledging as well. Like when someone is talking, you're already thinking about what you want to say and what you want to respond. But when we really deliberately listen to someone else, like listen to their story, even like reiterating what they said to make sure that you understand is so important. I'm an extrovert and I love communicating. I love talking. So it's really important for me and for everyone else to really acknowledge what another person is saying and having those meaningful interactions as well.
Lovely. Now, if you love to talk like all of us, we encourage you to join our crew and share with us your own personal connections with others.
It looks like we have an alliteration in one of the chats from Veronica Della Rosa. She says, value, validate, and verify. That's
Wow.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
Great.
I like that.
That's wonderful. Okay, so now that we've discussed that, how do you apply this during conversation with others, for example, especially to your family, friends, and loved ones? Now, think about that question for a moment, because we do have a short clip of a mom and daughter
Guess what?
about this. So, I guess actions speak louder than words. So we'll go ahead and show that video and let us know what you think after watching it.
How is it? It's me, your favorite daughter. Wow. Hey, Mom. How's it nice going? To see you. Nice to see you too. How's your day?
Very good, thank you.
I heard you have something for me. Maybe food.
Of course. Anytime. It's already prepared.
Yes.
Whether you come or not, it's always there.
Well, I'm hungry.
Okay, let's eat.
Let's eat.
Of
How's your
course.
day?
And then after eating,
Yes.
you can take out.
Wow. So I have food here, dine in, and then take out to
Yeah,
go.
of
Oh, that's good.
course.
So you're enjoying your retirement,
Yeah.
cooking, cleaning.
How about you? How are you?
I'm good.
Well,
7 out of
you
10.
look
So it's not so bad.
Very good.
Yes. Yeah. We're busy
Well,
at work.
I'm
but-
glad if you are glad.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
You're okay, I'm okay.
Okay, Mom. Can we eat now? Because I'm hungry.
Okay, let's do it.
Thank
Dig
you, Mom.
in.
Thank you, Mom. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for always being there.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go eat.
Let's go.
what's for dinner? I'm hungry.
Now, I love it. That was so wholesome. So cute.
I told her, Mom, I need your help. Let's do this.
Yes.
She got the cue. That was it. But yes, you see the difference there is when you have connection, even though it's spontaneous, no matter what time, who you're speaking with, and especially when it comes to our family. I mean, family is everything, right? That's what the saying goes, or that's how the saying goes. But can you just imagine once you no longer have that connection? Think about it for a moment. And I know that it is hard and it can be hard to connect sometimes, but we have to do our part. We have to be the one to initiate. And at times it can be very, very difficult. But when you have that connection and you realize the importance of loving and caring for your family, no matter what happens in our lives, make such a huge impact Because, I mean, who else can help us but our own families, right? I mean, for example, our siblings. We're with them every single day, fighting, arguing, yelling, throwing things at each other when we were kids, right? I mean, if you can resonate that, if you do have siblings, or just whatever. And parents have to be the one intervening and say, you need to stop fighting. And they've got 4 hands. And if you got 6 kids, it's like, okay, who's next? Like, how do we go about this?
You forget their names or something.
And then I get picked like the oldest. Oldest, help! I'm out.
I'm out.
Okay, so anyway, so how do you apply that with your own families or your friends or your loved ones? Terry, Jill, and Caitlin. And I'm trying not to get emotional after seeing that video because I love my mom. Hi, Mom. Thanks for doing it.
Like I mentioned earlier that there's something called deliberately listening in conversations, and it's a process of receiving and understanding someone's verbal or even nonverbal cues, just noticing their tone, their diction, the way they're moving their body. Like you can tell, even though they're not saying anything, your loved one, you could tell, okay, they seem angry, they're furrowing their eyebrows, they seem sad, their body's like sulking, and they seem happy, they're dancing whenever they're walking into a room. So just reading someone's like body language or even words like that is so important in day-to-day communication, especially when you're with your family, who I'm pretty sure you see every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I agree.
Go ahead.
Good. No, Jill, please.
No, I was just going to add on to that. Yes, you totally mentioned what I was going to say, Caitlin, about tone, but not only with tone with others, but also being aware with the tone that we might have. Because, for example, we might have like a long day or a day, and then we come and see somebody, and, you know, our tone is a little bit off. And to them, it might seem, you know, intentional, but really it's not on them. It's really us. And sometimes after the fact, you know, we have to realize like, oh, that might have came off a little bit wrong, and then, you know, confront them, but also having self-awareness of how we come off to our friends and family as well. So sorry, go ahead, Terry.
No, I have to agree that the tone and how we speak with one another, although we're very imperfect family, us. Sometimes we don't talk to each other. You know, we're in the living room or something, right? And sometimes, you know, someone is talking to you and they're walking away. You know what I mean? Like they're doing something and you didn't hear the last thing that they said. So you're like, you know, you have a question mark in your head. What did this person say? So yeah, and it's really important to have conversations, even face to face. You know, especially if the tone is there, and then the, you know, how they cross their arms or how their face expressions and things like that. It's good to know and see those things, so you know how they're feeling. But yeah, sometimes conversations can be different for our family or our friends, because we take it for granted sometimes, our family, when we talk to them, right? We don't mean to say things that we do, and then you feel really bad, and then you feel like, okay, you have to give them a hug like Melvi and the mom did. So yeah, that was great. I like that.
But you know what? The word that you all mentioned, which it's that tone. The tone means a lot. You know how, like what Jill mentioned earlier, when you're having a bad day and the first thing you do is, what? I just want to see how you're doing. You're like,
that sounded real.
Especially with either your parents or your siblings. You're in the middle of doing something, and then you're already having a bad day, or for example, you have a deadline to meet or a project that you really, really need to accomplish, and they just happen to come at the wrong time. And like what Terry said, you don't mention, but then Caitlin said, you know, you got to really learn to also acknowledge your own flaws. We're not all perfect, but we can absolutely learn from our own mistakes. Now let's take a break from our discussion, because our love and care from our YouTube comments, from our listeners and viewers, are flooding our show tonight. And we love you too so much. Thank you for connecting with us tonight and sacrificing some of your minutes. So let's go ahead and read a few of them. If Jill and Terry can take turns, please go ahead and share with us some of those YouTube comments.
Of course. Oh, go ahead, Jill.
Oh no, communication. We have some great Vine chats in here in our messages. So we have one for Kaisai to learn to be a good listener before we talk. I like that. That is great.
For sure.
Game player. We have greetings from Ridgecrest. We have from Riverbank, Santa Maria. Fresno.
Yes.
We also have Bakersfield. Shout out to the Soriano family. And take it away, Terry.
Hey. Okay, so we have Mario Oka. Good day here in the Philippines, and enjoy watching here in INCRadio, Central Valley, California, satellite studio. Greetings from local of Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North. So this is this brother, I think, is really great because I see his name every Friday on here. And then we have local from Orosi. We have Romel Bautista. Happy viewing to all. Hi to all the brethren in Central Valley, California. And we have Janessa Padlan. Happy viewing po sa lahat ng mga kapatid. Pagbati po mula sa lokal ng Shongli. I don't know where that is, but thank you po for your support. We appreciate you. And then we have Louis. Happy viewing po from the locale of Bakersfield. And we have Brother William Dorsey. Happy viewing from the locale of Delano, and many more. But let's get back to our discussion. Melvi.
Thank you both, Terry and Jill. And thank you, listeners and viewers. And please keep chatting with us because we love hearing from you. And believe it or not, we do watch the replay and read all of your comments. Now that we've talked about connection in communication, how about disconnection? Was there ever a time in your life while you felt disconnected? And if so, did you learn from that experience? With my three lovely friends over here, what's your answer?
I have an answer, but I'll let somebody go first, just in case.
I went first the last time, so
Go ahead.
I'll
Disconnected?
I'll go then. So the question is, did you feel disconnected? Is right, Melvi?
Yes.
Okay. So during work, when I was working, when you have things to ask about your boss or your coworkers, things like that. And sometimes your bosses or the people that lead you at your work, sometimes they don't, well, some of them, I don't want to say they or all, I want to say some of them are kind of disconnected from the workers. This is my experience. So I want to share that because when I'm talking to them and then they say, okay, fine, they just kind of walk away and just like shrug it, like it's nothing, it didn't matter, you don't matter, or what you said is not really important. So that was a disconnect with my leaders that lead me in my work. And so I went back to where I was, what I was doing, thinking to myself, well, why would they say that they would listen to me and they don't really do anything about it? Because I didn't get the right response that I felt like I needed. So that was a disconnect for me. Okay.
I can relate with that because sometimes you ask a question and the answer becomes a totally different answer.
Yes.
And you sit
definitely.
there and go, well, what do you expect me to do with that respond if you didn't even bother listening to what I was asking specifically?
Yes.
Yes, I've encountered that too. And after that, it's like in and out. And sometimes I pretend I'm taking off. Saying anymore. I feel so bad after I get out of the office. I said, okay.
Or nodding your head, but not really
yeah,
listening.
yeah, nodding my head, bobble head.
Yeah,
With a bunch
definitely.
of question marks in my brain. And then that was it. So, but you learn. You live and learn. How about you, Jill and Caitlin?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I've never felt more disconnected whenever the conversation ends with, we agree to disagree. Because I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I feel like we're so, in tune with our beliefs that there's just that disconnect there. And, and it's okay. What I've learned was that you're not always going to have the same opinions, the same beliefs as somebody. And, that's okay. You just kind of leave it at that and, move on. But that's kind of whenever I feel disconnected with somebody is whenever somebody says, we can agree to disagree.
I mean, people can have different opinions, experiences in life, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just have to meet in the middle and compromise, especially when it comes to, I think in most of the time in the workplace, or when it's a team effort, or even when it's a team building or team sports, for example, right? How about you, Caitlin?
I think for me, I'll say like frustrating when it comes to like communicating is when there's no communication at all. Like in school, there would be group projects, everyone's favorite thing to do. And then there are times that maybe myself and maybe only one other person will be working, and our other classmates just don't put any of the work, or no one commits to keeping in contact, like, hey, let's meet up here to practice our presentation, or let's get 2 pages done by the end of the week. And when no one says anything, it just shows that like, maybe they're going through something, and I understand that, but it shows that also you're not putting the effort to communicate or care enough about your grade or how you present yourself, I guess.
You know what? That's true. I've observed that. I've also observed that, because when you don't know how to be accountable for something, then you can easily be disconnected, especially again when you're working with a team or with groups of individuals or groups of people, especially when you have projects to work on and whatnot. So anyway, in as much as I would love to chat with my beautiful friends here and with you listeners and viewers, you're going to have to wait till next week. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click that notification bell so you will never, ever, ever miss our show. Only here on Central Valley Satellite Studio every Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Before I let my friends go, you've got a few seconds to do your shout out.
I'll shout out first.
Make connection.
So I'd like to say praises to our Almighty God for appointing our current Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo. So shout out to that. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out again to the local of Santa Maria, my family, my parents that are watching, Ka Art and Ka Helen, and my sister. Happy birthday to my nephew, Derek, AJ, Tyler, Derek and Larsa, Esri and Layton. I have so many nieces and nephews. I have to name every single one of them. But that is it. Thank you so much for the time, and we'll see you next week. Up to you, Caitlin.
I'd like to shout out the entire district of Central Valley, California. Thank you always for tuning in and supporting our satellite station. Thank you to my mom and dad who send the link out to everyone they know to support INCRadio. And of course, thank you to Jill, to Terry, and to Melvi for being such awesome hosts and panelists.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you, everyone. And if it's not too much to ask, again, please click that. I said click instead of click. Like button, because a small gesture means a lot to all of us here in our satellite studio. Of course, we want to thank above all of our district staff, especially our spiritual leaders who continue to support us in everything that we do. And this platform has indeed tremendously helped us connect with each one of you and the entirety of the world. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to our INC radio station manager, Brother Wally Tarai, our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and of course, our newly appointed deputy executive minister, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. We love you very much. To those also behind the scenes, you know who you are. Thank you for making all of our shows happen and taking care of us here in all of our satellites there in the Philippines. So have a great weekend, everybody, and we will see you again next week, only here on Central Valley Satellite Studio, Valley Grown, where we aspire to inspire all of you to grow with us one story at a time. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Next week. Love you.
Sa iglesia sila ay nagmamahal. Sa amin iyong ibiniyaya ang pamamahala na sa'yo nagmula. Isang lider upang pag-ibig sa iglesia ang